Hey guys, I'm Karina.
And I'm Eric.
And welcome back to the Late Podcast. The law according to Eric. I remembered it this time.
Right on.
All right, so today we're going to speak on criminal law, which Eric's looking forward to. Is that right?
Yes, but as an initial threshold matter, this is not the area of law that I practice. So I want to make sure that nobody that is facing criminal charges listens to this and takes it too seriously as far as what to do.
This is just for the shits and giggles.
That's right. Definitely consult a lawyer, your own specific attorney in your area. By the way, I did also one other thing before we dive into it. I was reading a really, really interesting article. Mm-hmm. Did you know that they found that diarrhea is now hereditary?
What?
It runs in your genes.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
All right. You want to hear my dad joke?
Yes.
If April showers bring May flowers, what do May flowers bring?
Pilgrims.
How did you know this one already?
Yeah, that's an obvious one.
Well, I guess mine sucked.
I win. I win. I do have the best dad jokes.
Because he says them all the time.
Okay, but let me, because God forbid I get accused of joke infringement. So I heard that joke last night on the episode of the show we're watching called The Last of Us.
Oh my God.
And I said, I'm stealing that for the podcast. So, but just before the now 246 listeners go crazy, I admit I borrowed that from this TV show.
All right. So when looking up criminal law, I read that criminal law is a system of laws that define criminal offenses and how the government can prosecute those who commit it, and regulates how suspects are investigated, charged, and tried.
That's correct. I'll add a little bit to that. In that, often you'll see on like television where somebody will say, "Yes, officer, I want to press charges." Okay, that doesn't really work. Regular everyday citizens cannot press charges. Only the district attorney, city attorney, or federal prosecutors can press charges against someone for criminal conduct. Regular citizens can be witnesses, right? There is a thing called citizen's arrest, which, while legal, I don't think really, nobody really pays attention if somebody says, "No, I'm placing you under citizen's arrest." But generally speaking, it's not, no regular one person can press charges. It's only the local or federal government can do so.
All right. So going with the criminal topic in mind, Eric.
By the way, to our audience, if you hear Karina kind of cutting in and out, it's because we got our insomnia cookies order early today.
Yes, we did.
And they had a great deal. We got 20% off. I got 2 dozen, 1 dozen to bring home because I've got a relative coming into town, staying with me over the weekend. The other for the office, and they are as exquisite as ever. Best,
and their holiday one right now, I'm trying it. The one with the Bruce Sprinkles, it's pretty good.
Best fucking cookies ever. I'm sorry. I just have to say it. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
All right. So on the topic, Eric, do you have any stories you'd like to share?
Me personally?
Yes,
well,
from the criminal things.
I can. All right. I'll share one story. I can't name names. This is an actual client. But I have this client that, and remember, I don't practice criminal law. So I was representing him on business matters. And this particular client had a propensity towards, women of the night. He, has a thing. So he would every couple weeks rent himself a hotel room, and he would order what he would describe as room service, which basically means a prostitute, and, have his fun, whatever. And then I guess go home for the weekend. Anyway, one particular instance, his room service showed up, and apparently he pulled out a large amount of cash to pay for his room service, and the room service noticed all this cash and essentially convinced him to like go start a shower and wait for her, and she'll be right in a minute.
And he believed her.
He did. And a few minutes go by and he realizes that nobody's coming in the shower. So in a panic, he jumps out of the shower, grabs the typical tiny hotel bath towel and this is a very large person. He's 6'5", 6'6", 280 pounds. That towel didn't go anywhere close to around his waist. Rushes out of his hotel room to try to find the thief. Hotel room door closes behind him. Of course, he has no key. Everything's inside. Jumps in the elevator, takes it down to the lobby to try to catch this person. And as he steps out, there's like a family with like 2 little kids checking in for like a weekend.
Mhm.
And there he is, like all of his junk hanging out, this tiny bath towel. Needless to say, he was arrested for lewd and lascivious conduct toward the minor, some other things. He had a very high bail, $50,000,
Mhm.
which of course he didn't have just laying around. So I get a call, Eric, please, I need you to set up bail. You're the only lawyer I know. Okay, fine. Unfortunately, I had to call his wife
Mhm.
because the title of the house is joint. And in order to, you only have to pay 10% of your bail amount or bond amount, or bail amount if you get a bond for the difference.
Right.
So he only had to come, his bail was 50,000. He had to pay 5,000, which was fine. They had 5,000 they could pay, but they needed to put up the title of the house. And the only person who could give it to me would be the wife. So that's, so he was eventually charged. He pled out to something minor. So at least he's not like on the registry.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, there you go. So, and I had to go arrange his bail, go pick him up from the station. And he was very happy to see me until I explained how I had to get his bail done.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a very quiet ride home that night.
I bet.
So there's the one. I mean, I have another one. I represented somebody like in a DUI, but there was nothing exciting. We made a deal, pled him out, first time offense. That was it. Oh, I did. I used to do a bunch of dispensary cases.
Okay,
those were misdemeanors, right? Most of the time. And I represented a few, like what we'll call gray market dispensary owners, and to try to get them out of trouble with the city attorney's office or just get them to pay a fine or slap on the wrist. That's really about it.
Okay. All right. So I have pulled some of criminal like questions from Reddit and everything in the stories. So let's start with the first one. It's called "Fired for reporting a threat to HR. Can this be a retaliation claim?" So I have a criminal record, but I have been working as a supervisor at this company for 18 months now. No issue. We hired an ex-cop, and the first thing he did was to look up everyone's records. Since I have a class 6 felony on my record, he was not happy with that and he reported it to HR. Nothing comes from this other than him refusing to work with me. Months go by now, no issues between us, and he has even worked with me if he must. One day I asked him, because we must drive it out of state, if he is planning on going to the company's holiday party. He responded with, "I don't know, I might go on a raid that day." Which I responded to, "Anyone I know?" And he says, "Might be you." Now, I let him know it's not funny, and he plays it off, and I diffuse attention by chiming in with it as a joke, but I am miffed. My coworker told me I should report it to HR, so I did. Monday comes around, and I'm fired for inappropriate communication, and so is he. Do I have grounds for retaliatory case over him using my criminal records against me, which eventually led me to lose my job?
Well, he got fired too, right? The other guy. So no, I think the company, while it was probably a stupid decision, and especially if they knew about it, or whatever, but they, they laid down the same discipline to both of them. So was it a dick move for the guy to like investigate and look up his his background? Probably. The bigger question is, did he abuse his authority or position as a cop, or whether he's reserved now?
Exactly. Yeah.
Because there are some services that you can pay for that will do like criminal background checks, but that's not the same as actually getting a record unsealed or getting into like an indictment. Now, as an attorney, I have access to criminal court records. I can pull down through like a PACER service or whatever. But only because my login identifies me as a lawyer, right? Like not anybody can just sign up for an account like that and get that kind of information.
Exactly.
So it sounds pretty, it's pretty shitty, that the guy kept like rubbing it in his face, if you will, but I don't know that it's retaliatory if the company fired them both.
All right. So I was going to do a funny thing this episode where in the middle of these, I'll put in like the dumbest court records that I could find. Like,
okay.
Records.
These are,
Okay.
Some of these are, I've had a few of these happen too, but go ahead.
So the first one, small, is just two sentences, but the attorney asked, "Were you present while your picture was taken?" The witness response was, "Are you shitting me right now?" I can't believe that was on record as the attorney.
Okay. So a question like that is meant to lay the foundation for something after. So yes, it was stupid, right? Were you present when your picture was taken? Yes, obviously, right? But it's meant to maybe establish the person's whereabouts at the time or the timing, so that's what we call laying a foundation. Sometimes when you lay a foundation, it looks pretty stupid. It sounds pretty stupid.
But there's
and
more to come.
obvious, right? Could you state your full name for the record, John? And that's your birth name, or whatever, like, like.
Yeah.
But they do that,
Yeah.
So yes, but that sounds more like it was meant to lay the foundation for something else.
Okay, next story.
All right.
This one I actually found quite funny. My almost 3-month-old daughter has been subpoenaed to testify in a criminal case.
Does she share a name with somebody like a relative?
No,
Okay.
no. This is the funny. That's the funniest
Okay, because I've heard things like that happen, where like they're just the same name. But
No.
okay, but all right.
Okay.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Last Thursday, a process server came to our house and serviced a subpoena for a criminal case on my daughter. I called the number on it to explain how it must be a mistake because my daughter is not even 3 months old yet. But I was told that there was no mistake and my daughter is required to appear as a witness to testify on the date that is shown on the subpoena. I went in person with my daughter to the DA's office and was told the same thing. My husband and I thought this might be a case of identity theft, but she doesn't even have her social security number yet because she was a premature baby and has only been home from the NICU for 7 days, and we haven't even gotten around to do it. We called the police about it possibly being identity theft, and they are looking into it, but so far there is nothing. And they also told us the subpoena is legit. We are very confused, especially because our daughter has a very rare and uncommon name. When I called the number on the subpoena and went to the DA's office, I was told both that if she doesn't show up to court, a warrant will be issued for her arrest. Would the police actually arrest the baby for not showing up to court? Or would my husband and I, as her parents, be arrested instead? Does anyone else have an explanation for what is happening here? We are in California, if that makes a difference.
Well, it maybe makes it a little bit worse, but look, if the first part is what would Eric do?
Yeah.
Eric would hire a lawyer and try to get them to quash that subpoena right away. It's very, very, it sounds like they're just repeating what they always have to say to people. They probably get calls like this all the time, like they're probably not true. Just, hey, you got the wrong person. It's not me, whatever. And they just have a script that they have to follow. But in this case, that's a real legitimate concern, especially if this baby has health issues. You don't want to drive them around. Even if you show up one day in court, like I would say, if the baby didn't have any health complications, I would do that.
Yeah.
I would go for the day. I would bring my 3-month-old to court. I would say,
sit her down.
Ask her questions. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Can you understand when she, spits up and what she's trying to say? Because, we don't know yet, but go ahead. Here, ask away. Just to make a point. But that's because, I can be an asshole at times if I would have
done it. I would have brought it there telling her she has to be there. And if not, there's going to be a warrant.
I would hire a criminal defense attorney. This probably will not be an expensive thing. I don't know that she'll be allowed to be reimbursed for any expense in dealing with the mishap. It's worth trying.
I do it for the plot.
I'm saying it's worth trying, like just to get the county to reimburse. At some point you have to have some degree of, humanity, or there's, you can't just be a robot. Lady calls, says, my child's 3 months old. This is the only person I know with this. And she doesn't even have a social yet. This has to be some kind of mistake. If there's nobody willing to listen to her, nobody willing to investigate. And she actually went there. Yeah. She should get an attorney, somebody that can, get their attention. And I would definitely I would consider some kind of action to, if that's going to put me out and this is harassing and this is a child and this child has medical conditions or issues, I wouldn't just keep, I know they're trying to do it themselves and money may be an issue or, a problem, but I would definitely get a lawyer.
All right. The next court record.
All right.
Judge, your client wants permission to go on a cruise while he's on bond for a DUI. Attorney, yes, judge. It's not like he's going to be driving the ship. That's an actual court transcript.
That's kind of funny. Look, I can tell you, I've probably appeared in front of 40 or 50 different judges in, over the course of the last 15 or 16 years. Some judges, if they know you, like I'm frequently in bankruptcy court. So the bankruptcy court judges are a small pool. And at this point, most of the ones, at least in Los Angeles and the San Fernando Valley, they kind of know who I am and they know at least me by reputation. So I can get away with some of that here and there, especially if the judge knows you or there's some back and forth. So that sounds more like what that was. Probably a guy that does a lot of DUI cases, and it might all go to the same court. Like Los Angeles, they have a weed court. They used to before it was like recreationally illegal. So there was one courtroom. That's all they handled was misdemeanor marijuana cases. So there might be a DUI court. They just know them at this point.
He had a point. He's not going to drive.
Yeah, it's true. I think the bigger concern is why are we going to let this guy go on a vacation out of the country when he's facing criminal charges for something that's not so minor. But the lawyer brings up a good point. You know, what danger is he posing to
Yeah.
drivers if he's on a ship?
Mhm.
So, okay.
Okay, next story. A coworker tampered with my food, causing me days of pain and an ER visit. Is this classified as a crime that I can sue for?
Probably.
Let me tell you the story.
Yeah. First, if this is okay, so you're asking, it's on a criminal thread.
Mhm.
But the question is really, can he sue,
Mhm.
which is in civil court? So the answer is yes. The standard for civil liability is lower than criminal,
Yeah.
right? So everybody's heard like beyond a reasonable doubt. That's the standard for criminal cases. You have to
Mhm.
be certain beyond a reasonable doubt. Then you can get into a whole thing about what makes something reasonable versus unreasonable. Usually they use the example of the lottery ticket,
Mhm.
right? Everything is possible, but not likely. So
Right.
yeah, I can buy a ticket. It's possible I win. It's not likely. So that's not like that little tiny
Mhm.
percentage chance is not reasonable, right? That's like what they use for reasonable doubt, kind of, you know. But civil, it's like preponderance of the evidence.
Mhm.
Now, a preponderance of the evidence standard is basically 51% one way, 49% the other.
Mhm.
Basically, better than a 50% chance that it happened. That's the standard.
Mhm.
If they can somehow show, like, if there's like a text message or something where this guy's like joking about, hey, I spiked this girl's food.
Oh, it's worse. Let me tell you.
Oh, there's more. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
I said, let me say the story.
Oh,
You
I'm
just
sorry.
continue.
I'm sorry. My bad.
No,
Oh.
that was just the title.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oops.
A coworker of mine thought it would be funny to sprinkle vital wheat gluten on my food in the fridge. I have celiac disease. There's even a video of him doing so, and he admits it. The evening after he put that in my food, I was not aware of what he had done yet. I had a massive amount of stomach pain, so bad that my husband had to take me to the ER, which was very costly since I don't have insurance. That was Friday. Monday and Tuesday, I called in sick as I won't be able to function properly. This morning, I went to work and explained why I couldn't come in earlier this week and asked if my boss and I could take a look at the break room tapes. It showed one of my coworkers opening my lunch bag and putting something in my sandwich. My boss called him in and he admitted to what he had done. Unfortunately, my boss sided with him and saying it was just a harmless prank and that no one actually has gluten problems and that it's just a fad. Yes, I have started looking for a new job and I do have two other coworkers that also saw the tape and heard his admission and they side with me. Am I able to sue in this instance?
Yes. In fact, I hope they're in California. And if they are, I want to figure out a way to get a hold of this person. She has a lawsuit against the company and this employee individually. And I say this with no reservation whatsoever. I would be merciless.
I would too.
I mean,
especially for the boss to say, "Oh, no one has gluten problems." Like, what an asshole!
Under no circumstance should a company excuse that kind of behavior, especially one that was openly admitted to. That person should have been terminated on the spot. The company should cover all medical expenses and give her 2 weeks off with pay, and beg her to please not sue them. Because otherwise that company is going to be her company, like at least by the time I'd be done. So yes, absolutely. She has grounds. They have liability. I would tell her, go get some. Go get some.
Exactly. Okay. Next court record one. The court. How did she get those bruises on her face? Defendant. She fell down the stairs. Attorney. Shut the fuck up. So I want to know what happened there and what he was told to say because obviously it wasn't that for the attorney.
That sounds like an unfortunate domestic abuse kind of case. And it could be that the witness was intimidated.
Maybe.
And they decided that that's what they were going to say. And, the case kind of falls apart. That sounds like the attorney reaction is something similar. Like he had understood what the answer was going to be. And then it changed at the last minute. Right. And he kind of got a little freaked out. I've had that happen in a deposition where we were talking to a witness beforehand, got their story, right? They were, yes, this happened. Yes, we know. Get them into a deposition, ask them the same thing. And they got reached by their ex. They made some kind of deal. I'm positive. It's not on the record. I'm positive they made a deal. They were going to split some kind of proceeds. Her whole story flipped like out of nowhere. And I remember I tried to maintain composure, as best I could, but I was visibly upset.
I would too.
I mean, yeah. So I've seen that kind of thing happen. And that's what that sounds like.
Okay, next one. Should I change my name? I figured this would be another question to use my throwaway account for. Throwaway is the account they use just to ask questions they don't want tied back to them. So
Okay.
it's like a spam kind of. On
I
Instagram.
understand. So
Mhm.
basically, throwaway questions are, how can I properly cut cocaine to
Yeah.
maximize?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I understand.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I got arrested a few times when I was young and stupid, from 18 to 20. And it's haunted me for the past 10 years. From what I understand, it's impossible to get anything expunged unless it was an arrest that you weren't convicted of. And certainly not anything beyond your first. I've done a lot to improve myself since then. I grew the fuck up for starters, and I got my AA, and I'm currently working on my bachelor's. But I find it impossible to get a single job that requires a background check. I'm great at interviews. I land just about every job that doesn't do background checks. It's like as soon as they start looking on your record, the interview persona completely changes. Even though I paid the consequences of my actions, I can never move on from it. So my question is, does legally changing my name have any effect on my criminal history? These are all misdemeanor offenses and 2 petite thefts and 2 driving while on suspended license. One of the driving while on a suspended license charge was dropped due to me completing a pretrial intervention program. I'm not dumb enough to think any criminal out there could just change his name and bam, criminal history gone. But surely there could be something I can do.
I'm a little hesitant to respond to this.
Yeah.
In that I don't want to give improper advice.
Mm-hmm.
And as an attorney licensed in California and licensed to practice in federal courts, I certainly cannot give advice to someone about how to, trick the system, so to speak.
And get away with it.
Right. I don't know that it would make a difference. Often job applications ask if you've used any other name in the past or any aliases. Yeah. And so I would think that if they do have those questions on there and you don't answer it or say no, you're just as, dishonest. I don't know what state he's in. Certain states and counties are a little different as far as expungement. I know in California, for example, once the legalization of cannabis happened and it went from medical to recreational, a lot of people that had misdemeanor cannabis convictions were able to get them expunged. I was able to do that for one of our clients some time ago, and it was actually a fairly straightforward process. Again, I don't know where this jurisdiction is or what, it's possible, especially if he's gone a period of time without any incidents and he can show the court he's turned his life around and he's educated better now and he's continuing his education. Maybe he can get them expunged or sealed somehow. Problem is that it sounds like his arrests and convictions were when he was over the age of 18.
Yeah.
So that's a lot harder. You can't really seal records. Juvenile records can be sealed or are, but adult records really aren't. So again, it's kind of a hard question to answer, but I don't know that changing your name is going to do anything for you. Might create even more problems. Plus, if I'm not mistaken, you have to go to court and get permission to change your name. And you have to explain why. Yeah. Right. And they're going to ask, well, is it in that actually his prior convictions may even preclude him from doing that.
Yeah.
So
maybe.
yeah. So chances are it's not going to help. It won't matter anyway. So I would say no.
Okay. Next, court transcript. Okay. Sir. Well, this is the judge. Sir, where is your attorney? Defendant. Oh, I didn't invite him to come today.
It's kind of funny.
Okay. Next one. My wife has 3 hits on a criminal background check.
Can I interrupt? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'll tell you a real story.
Yeah.
There was a hearing once I was attending, and sometimes when the client appears with the attorney in court, the attorney announces it to the court, like, hi, Eric Van Samakan on behalf of the plaintiff, Mrs. Doe, who is present in court today, or something like that. Well, there's once where the case was called, like, in the matter of, Jane Doe. And so the client actually went up to the podium and the lawyer was right next to her and the judge's like, well, man, what are you doing? She's like, I don't know. My lawyer's not here. They're like, I'm right fucking next to you. Like literally, like I'm right here. And like, she didn't recognize her own lawyer. Like she was older, and I was like, she didn't realize. She's like, it's me, Sam, whatever.
Why did she think who was standing next to her? What did she think
she thought it was the attorney for a creditor, not her lawyer in bankruptcy. And the guy's, and I know the guy, he's a nice guy.
So embarrassed.
Yeah. He's like whatever her name was, like Ethel, I don't know. Like I'm right here, like literally right next to you. Oh, are you so like, oh my God. But you have to understand, okay, it sounds funny, but that creates all sorts of problems because especially in bankruptcy, a lawyer, but I would venture to guess this is in every practice area. A lawyer has a duty to confirm who his client is. right? I like every case that we handle. I have an obligation to meet this client, even during the pandemic.
That's
we do
what
it
I was
over
gonna say,
Zoom.
yeah.
Show me their identification, driver's license, passport, whatever, social security card, something to confirm, because there's a lot of fraud out there. Like bankruptcy fraud's a big thing. People will come in and pretend that there's someone else just to file bankruptcy to save a foreclosure for something else, or all sorts of scandalous stuff. So, that just kind of made the attorney look like he didn't even know who his own client was, but he did. He was up there like with her. She, unfortunately, I think was maybe going through early stages of dementia. No, I'm serious. And she just, I don't know, she just didn't recognize him or whatever. But yeah, that kind of stuff can happen.
Okay, let's go. Next one. Next story. I made a prank call, and I recently got a call from a detective saying the person filed for a complaint. I was your typical quiet, good kid. But about 3 months ago, when I was still 20, I made a dumb prank to call a guy I didn't know and I have never met. Basically, the guy's from a certain type of culture, and I made a distasteful pun. Well, 2 days ago, I was at my best friend's wake when a detective called me. I really couldn't remember until he read off some of the things from the voicemail. And from that, I just admitted that I do remember making that call. The detective said if I cooperated, it wouldn't need to be a big deal. And he just wanted to close it because there's other things he could be doing. I agreed to come up to the station and discuss with him in 2 days. How much trouble could I really be in? What would you do if you were in my position?
Okay, so he already screwed up.
By admitting.
That's right. But let me explain. Okay. First of all, there is a saying that most people should live their life by. Okay. And it's very simple. When caught, deny, deny, deny.
Yep.
Okay. That's number one. Number two, in case our now 240 some listeners don't know this, the police can lie to you.
Yeah.
And openly. There is case law that sets the standard and the precedent that police are allowed to lie to you intentionally to get you to confess. So when a cop said, so let's say you're legitimately innocent, and this is where a lot of these wrongful conviction cases are dealt with, and police coercion, they say, hey, we already have your DNA. I don't even need your confession. You're going down. If you confess now, it'll be easier on you. Otherwise, I don't even care. And of course, they're lying. There is no DNA. But now you're stopped and you're like, well, oh my God, like, how did they get that? And what's happening? Right. So his big mistake was believing the cop when the cop said, yeah, I don't really want to deal with this. Let's just get it done. Come talk to me. And, yes, of course there's better things he could be doing. It's a stupid prank call. And I don't even know, unless the prank call caused like the guy to have a heart attack.
Yeah. It's just a prank call. How much trouble could you really be?
Okay. Well, let me tell you, for example, if I make a prank call and I say, to an elderly woman, your son is in the hospital, or I'm holding him hostage, and she has a heart attack. Yes, I can be criminally convicted.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it depends on the degree of it. Sounds like the guy was more offended. Maybe he was like, like one of those Indian guys or whatever. He's making fun of him or using the accents, something like that. Okay. It could be any culture, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not picking fights with Indians. I'm just saying,
I don't know. I didn't say what kind
anything
of
like that. Right.
It was.
No, I mean, right. But that's what I'm saying, and so maybe that person got like super offended. I understand. But, he already admitted it, and he already said he was going to go down there. Maybe it's worth getting an attorney to come with you for the hour, just to advise you further. It's probably a misdemeanor as it is, which means that he's likely to get a fine. He might be able to get it expunged after a period of time, but you're going to put yourself through all this for something stupid. So get a lawyer to maybe just negotiate it away, something like that.
Eric wouldn't be doing prank calls either. So
no, Eric wouldn't be admitting to doing them to the cops. I'll tell you that. Okay.
Yeah, they called. I don't know what.
That's what I'm saying. Well, they might have gotten his caller ID. First of all, he's stupid if he doesn't use a burner phone.
That also,
right, to make prank calls. If you're going to do that, something, whatever. Well, yeah, I remember there used to be a thing. Star 69 calls you back. Yeah, but everybody's cell phones on it. But just block your caller ID or whatever. I mean, for the love of Christ, just come on, be a little smarter.
Exactly.
There are some very dumb criminals out there. About the one story. This is true. Guy in Texas, down on his luck. Worked as a mechanic or someplace, went to rob a gas station, and he was wearing his fucking work uniform with his name on the shirt, Earl or whatever. The guy's looking at him. He's like, give me the goddamn money. He's like, okay, Earl. And that's who it was. It was Earl.
Oh my God.
Earl from the tire shop or whatever. And, so yeah, there are some dum-dums out there.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not advocating, but if you're going to do something like that, get a burner phone.
Exactly.
You can get them at Walmart, like $20, like those track phones or whatever.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
you don't need to surf the web, just making calls.
Google
Anyway.
even gives you a number sometimes. You can even get a
Yes,
Google
that's
number.
right. For Google phone, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But honestly, he's already like kind of stepped in it.
Yeah.
So try to mitigate it and move on.
Okay, next dumb court transcript. Judge, do you have anyone that you support? Defendant, oh, absolutely, the Indianapolis Colts.
That's kind of cute.
Okay, next story. Is it legal to, this is a question more.
All right.
Is it legal to plan crimes as a hobby if you don't intend to ever actually carry one out? If I had a hobby of planning elaborate crimes like bank heists, etc., and preparing in-depth communications of these plans, maps, photographs, blueprints, etc., but it was purely just for fun with absolutely no intention of ever actually committing a crime, is it illegal? Assuming, of course, that no actions are taken during the planning is illegal either. He wanted to make sure this is whatever state in the United States. He wanted to know if it was illegal in any state.
Okay, well, I don't know the answer to all the states. I'll tell you, probably not. It's kind of like somebody that writes a journal.
Yeah.
You know, and if you keep a journal and the journal details like horrible crimes against women or children, but it's all fantasy and you never do anything and you don't take pictures, then it might be disgusting or abhorrent, but it's probably not a crime. I will say I'm a little concerned with the idea that he's like drafting schematics, things like that. I mean, that's kind of a step in furtherance, and that's the legal term. If you take a step in furtherance of the crime, so it's like an attempted robbery, essentially. So I would be really more worried about that. I mean, it's one thing to kind of stay up at night planning like the great heist, and look, there are ways. I mean, there is something to that where people think of, like they'll see something on TV, a crime show, and they'll be like, "Oh, no wonder he got caught. He didn't do this or he didn't do that right." Yeah. That's a lot different than actually like drafting maps and plans. Getaway routes. That sounds a lot like a step in furtherance of committing a crime, which will bring you to an attempted felony. So I would say at the very least, maybe stop. Right. Or if you're gonna continue to do everything in writing, I would start off every new paragraph like for entertainment purposes only, or something like that. Just again, in case there's any doubt.
Yeah. Okay. Next story. Fired for looking like a criminal. Haven't been fired yet, but was sent home for the last 3 days, and I'm being brought in tomorrow to talk to my boss. So I'm already suspecting it. Business is a small family company of less than 100 people and more than 50. 2 months ago, a coworker got raped and returned 2 weeks ago. She was raped by someone who resembles me ethnically. 3 days ago, I'm called to talk to my boss. He says that they have to comply to ADA, and the coworker is finding it incredibly hard to not have PTSD attacks when I'm working in the same building as her. I offered to change shifts so we wouldn't have to work together. He says that they can't risk anything and apologizes, but says that she is the one with the temporary disability, so it has to go. I asked how this guy looks like me, and my boss straight up says it's because I am a certain ethnic race. They are also firing another woman of the same ethnic race. We are the only two in the office. He then changes his mind and says I am on non-paid leave, but he has given me some work to finish at home.
No. Okay, I'm sorry, finish, but that's already a problem.
He just asked, does this count as discrimination? And does the ADA rule over my protection? What do I do here?
I don't think it does, in the sense that if they are being terminated because they are of a certain ethnic class or racial class, then I don't think the American with Disabilities Act protects her from that. Imagine if I had some kind of trauma or disability because I was mugged as a child by somebody who's African American or Hispanic, and every job I get, I say, well, I have post-traumatic stress, therefore you need to fire every African American employee you have. No, that's not. The ADA the American Disabilities Act is not meant for that kind of stuff. Okay, that's number one. Number two, unpaid leave, but still giving him shit to do. No, that's okay. Maybe that whole business is racist. That's basically slavery. Well, I'm saying that's just modern slavery. Hey, I'm not going to pay you and you're in trouble, but tell you what, why don't you do the rest of this work for me?
Well, I had read a little bit under it because someone asked like what was so important, and they were like, it's a project that only I have been working on, and they don't want to like give it to anyone else because he's already almost finished it, and that's why it is.
Well, but nonetheless, but then fucking pay the guy for the work he's doing.
Exactly.
Have
him work remote then,
or whatever, right? Or whatever it is. Honestly, what I would do if I was that company, and I am sure that they are also concerned about lawsuits from the person with the disability for violating the ADA, is I would find a way to accommodate her if possible. Maybe put her in a private corner office somewhere away from everybody.
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
right? But I would not, under any circumstances, fire any employee based on their ethnicity or their race or gender or religion, for that matter. Especially if I'm being told to do so by somebody who has a claimed disability when it relates to that type of ethnicity or culture. Like that, this doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't.
It really doesn't. And even if that were the case, like even if this person was so severely traumatized that every time she sees an Asian or a black person or a Hispanic person, she, starts having nightmares, then she needs therapy. Okay. She needs to go get help. She's probably not fit to be in the workforce.
Exactly.
Okay? And again, and so I think the spirit of the American Disabilities Act is a good one. It's meant to not let employers discriminate against otherwise qualified or capable people because of a physical disability or an appearance or something like that. I think it's important. The problem is, with all well-meaning legislation, you're always going to find people that figure out ways around it or to take advantage of it. That's what this sounds like to me. It's like this person basically wants to cherry pick her coworkers.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I no.
Because what does she do when she goes to the grocery store or like
any
goes
place,
out? Exactly.
any place, a restaurant,
she's run
anything.
Into people, she can't pick them.
Of course, and that's why I'm saying, unless she completely isolates herself, it's just that's why it just sounds like such bunk. Yeah, if I were this guy, I would get a labor attorney, wage an hour. The unpaid leave but do work from home by itself is guaranteed compensation for him. By the way, sorry, before we get to the next thing, I just want to tell you, I got a breaking news alert, not a joke. Rudy Giuliani has been ordered to pay $148 million in the Georgia election workers case where he was found to have defamed them.
Oh my God.
He will no doubt appeal.
He will.
But if Georgia appellate law is anything like California, he will have to post a bond for that entire $148 million or risk being levied upon. So I got to be honest, of all the people, I'm not going to go on a super huge tangent. And by the end of this, at the very least, our listeners will know, like, politically where I fall. But of all the people that were on the sick, distorted Trump train that was drinking the Kool-Aid of his nonsense, Rudy Giuliani is the more upsetting. Mayor Rudy was a hero of 9/11. He truly was. New York City, the Twin Towers, Rudy stepped up.
Yeah.
He was the embodiment of what all American cities wanted for their mayors. He went from that to some weird, I don't know, he was a lawyer. I know he's had a couple of divorces. He got busted on the Borat movie or whatever, like that one scene, and he had like the black hair dye dripping down his face, and he just it got worse and worse. When he hooked up with Trump, he became a typical Trump boy, Trump fanboy, doing his bidding, his dirty work, like an idiot. Okay, Rudy was not a moron. He was a fairly intelligent person. He was a capable leader. He spiraled down so far and so quickly. It's honestly a shame. I know. It's truly a shame. And I hate to say it, but you know what, Rudy? That's what you get.
Yep.
All right. Sorry. That was it.
Another court transcript. Attorney, what did the doctor tell you was the condition of the body when he performed the autopsy? Witness, the dead body? Well, he described it as dead. That one was pretty good.
That's a good one.
Okay, let's see. Next one. Family believed I'm a criminal based on pictures they acquired from hacking into my accounts. My family members thought it was...
Sorry. His family members committed a crime by hacking into his accounts.
And now they're calling.
And now we're saying, okay, but now, and he's the criminal. All right. Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
A family member thought it would be funny to hack into my accounts, but turns out they weren't happy with what they found. So what started as a prank has now turned into half of my family believing I'm a criminal and are threatening to report me to law enforcement because I've done so much stupid stuff and should be held accountable, quote unquote. Basically, it's just pictures of psychedelics, which are personal amounts, but they're stating that they'll use this as evidence of me being a drug dealer. They're also threatening to have me charged retroactively for DWIs because based on pictures, they will make it appear as I was driving high and are motivated to get my license revoked based on these assumptions. I smoke weed occasionally. Otherwise, I don't even touch alcohol, and I haven't used any other drugs for like over 2 years. Other than that, I live an extremely low-key life. I work from home, and I'm a homebody for the most part. I have completely a clean record besides some speeding tickets a few years back, which I paid. They're telling me if I don't A, turn myself into the local PD, or B, move out of my apartment, they will report me. How likely is this that they could take such actions?
Well, okay. So let me first answer that last part of the question, and then I'll tell you what Eric would do.
Mm-hmm.
First, how likely is it? I mean, if they want, they can do it. They can make phone calls. They can report.
But how likely is it that he'll get like any?
Well,
like-
that's a different question, right? The question is how likely are they to do this? It's as likely as however badly they want to do it.
They seem crazy already. They
Right.
hack into stuff.
Now, what would Eric do? Eric would kindly send them a middle finger emoji and tell them to take their best shot. This guy, I don't think, has anything to worry about.
Yeah.
Number one, they hacked into his private stuff.
Exactly.
They're actually guilty of a crime, not him. Number two, pictures are old, and no police is going to charge him retroactively for being in possession of drugs 2 years ago
Exactly.
and that are gone because you need evidence.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're busted for possession, you better have fucking possession.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, there is no charge. Okay. So by the way, that's a common defense. When people are charged with possession with the intent to distribute,
Mhm.
one of the first things they say is, no, I wasn't going to distribute to anybody. This was all for me. Right.
Yeah.
But that makes a difference. That
Yeah.
shaved 5 years off your sentence.
Exactly.
Okay. But that's my point. That this guy, no, I'm serious. I don't want to, this is going to get me upset. Just like the stupid Christmas tree lady with the fucking $1,200 tree. Fuck these people.
Yeah.
I would literally send them a picture of a grisly turd in my toilet and a middle finger right
Yeah, I
after
would
it.
too.
Tell them take their best shot.
Mhm.
If only the only reason I wouldn't do that is because I'd be afraid they try to use that against me too, right?
Mhm.
But so maybe I'd stay polite and make, you know what, do what you got to do. Good luck with that,
Mhm.
and just expect that I'll have something to say about it. And
Yeah.
that's it.
No.
And if they did something like that, I would go after them for extortion, some kind of tortious interference, the
Yeah.
hacking, all of it.
I would go after
All
them.
of it.
Yep.
I would be fucking merciless. Now, it's a little unfair for me to say that because me as a lawyer, I would just do it myself. Like I don't have to pay anybody.
Yeah.
But honestly, that's an advantage.
Yeah.
I've had friends, right, that like their like landlords try to like short them on a security deposit,
Mhm.
and they know it's like for $500 or $400, no lawyer is going to spend the time, and they don't want to spend
Exactly.
$1,000.
Mhm.
And so I've like written like hard letters and like, don't laugh. Like,
I know.
I get the
Yeah.
balance of those deposits back every time.
Yep.
Because, and so bullshit.
So I made it the last story. I wanted to see your reaction to that.
Did you
one.
really?
Yeah, that was the last story on purpose.
Oh, I thought you said you made it up.
No,
but-
I
oh.
said I made that the last.
Oh,
story.
made- okay.
Yeah.
I mean, because this poor fucking guy.
No, yeah, I thought it was insane.
And this is his family?
Yeah, that's his family.
Like, you can't pick your family, right? You're just kind of born into them.
Yeah, that's why I don't believe when they say that you pick your family that you're born into before your life. I don't believe that. shit.
No.
You
But
don't.
I'll tell you, look, you can't choose your family, but you can choose who in your family you continue to have any kind of
Exactly.
relationship with.
Exactly.
I don't know what side of the family this is on,
Mhm.
mother side, father side, if these are like weird cousins
Mhm.
or something. It almost sounds like he lives in like a small town community.
Yeah.
They're like very high and mighty, like biblical people, like we don't
And they want him
drink, we don't
out
this.
because they want him to move out. Either he turns into Vin or that he moves out.
Yeah, it's all bullshit. Maybe,
Exactly.
you know what? Also, I mean, I hate to say it, but maybe they've got like a tenant for his room or something.
Well, he lives on his own.
So what
Yeah,
the fuck do they want? Like,
exactly.
that's
so
so
maybe they
stupid.
want to run him out of town.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. For what?
Exactly.
What is he doing that affects
Mhm.
them? Yeah, there's something else going on with them, or maybe there's some other like.
Yeah.
By the way, not that this is. It's just because I'm getting these breaking news alerts. Remember, we do this like live,
Yes.
whatever. So they autopsy.
Oh, I just
Results,
saw that. I was
Matthew
going to say it too.
Yeah. So he died of acute ketamine.
Yeah. It was an
Which is-
accident.
Yeah.
It was an accident.
So it's basically an accidental overdose
Yeah.
and drowning, subsequent drowning. Ketamine. Ketamine is used to treat anxiety and depression.
Mhm.
So he may have just had too much.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's very unfortunate.
That's insane. Yeah. Were you
So-
a Friends fan?
Huh?
Were you a Friends fan?
No.
No, me either.
But that doesn't shock me about you.
okay.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Friends was probably too lighthearted and and cute for you. I think you would have preferred like the R-rated
Eric
version of
thinks
Friends.
I'm so mean.
No, I don't think. I mean, I thank God, I'm the employer, and otherwise, I mean, I think working for you would be rough.
I'm such a nice person.
Yeah, to me, right? Because I'm the boss, but Like one day, knock wood, you're gonna have a different position in the firm, and you're gonna have subordinates. Okay, and I'm gonna be the guy they come to. Okay, and they're like, Karina just. Okay. I'm gonna tell you one funny story, but
Mhm.
I can tell the story now because the statute of limitations is long since passed.
Okay.
I can't name names. Okay, but as a favor to somebody I worked with,
Mhm.
I agreed to hire their son.
Oh God.
And he was, without a doubt, the thickest, near dumbest person I'd ever met. And it was a difficult situation because I worked closely with this other person who was a good friend of mine, and I knew them for a long time and I went to school with them, and, but this kid was just terrible. So, me being me, I had to find a way to make him quit because I could not fire him. So what I would do, we used to be in an office building in Encino on Ventura Boulevard. Now we're not. We're in Beverly Hills, but before, and the bank that we used was like 8 blocks down. Okay, he didn't drive, even though he was 18. He didn't have a license or a car, so he used to have to get rides into work and home and all that. So I used to make him go to the bank to bring our deposits, and he would have to walk. And I would wait, like in the middle of the August heat in the San Fernando Valley. It was like 109 degrees or whatever. I would say, hey, I can't use his name, but hey, come here. I need you to take this to the bank and make a deposit. And then I would intentionally hold back one check. So he would walk the 8 or 9 blocks, make the deposit, walk back. He'd be like drenched in sweat, breathing heavy. And I'd be like, oh, I forgot to give you this other one. I need you to go back and deposit this. And then he would look at me, hey, we got payroll tomorrow, whatever, I have to. And I would make him walk back again. And eventually it worked. He just quit. Right.
And you call me mean.
Okay. But let me just say, that wasn't mean. That was ingenious because when he quit, he was actually apologizing to me.
Wow.
Eric, I'm really sorry. I just don't think this is for me. I appreciate all you're doing. I'm sorry too. I hate to lose you. And I'm like, like chuckling in my, the back. But it reminded me of, that's what you would do. Okay. Yes, you would.
I would know.
Yes, you would. You would 100%.
At least I know you like how I work. You let me take your car to the bank. So
yes, that's true.
He hasn't made me walk to the bank. So.
Okay. Fair point. All right. There you go. So, so number one, by the way, if anybody listens to us on iTunes,
yes,
give us a rating. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but I guess the Apple algorithm gives us some kind of boost or does something. So we would really appreciate that if you enjoy it.
Spotify also, you can even add questions. You can put in requests on Spotify. You can also request stuff on our Instagram. Our DMs are open.
And even though they are not a sponsor in any way and we get no financial benefit, go buy and order Insomnia cookies. They're so good.
Bring them to your holiday party.
Oh my God. I had 2 already today. There's another 8 or 9 in the dozen box. I'm bringing home a dozen because, I got my brother coming to town, but I'm telling you, nothing beats the hashtag Insomnia rocks. Love those cookies.
All right. For the last dumb transcript, because I forgot.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. Yeah.
And then we'll end the episode. Okay.
So I think it's one of our longer episodes, actually.
No. Yeah. We're up to 50 minutes.
There you go. Almost an hour. All right. Go ahead.
The youngest son, the 20-year-old. How old is he? The witness. He's 20, just like your IQ. She said it in there. The youngest son, the 20-year-old.
That's I know. I've seen weird, court, answers to questions. Sometimes people do that just to try to be smart.
Yeah.
They show the lawyer that maybe they didn't phrase it as well as they could have, or they could have addressed the question better or differently.
Well, I feel like that definitely could have been asked differently.
Yeah.
Your son, the 20-year-old, how old is he?
Yeah. You could say your youngest son, how old is he? And that
exactly.
would have accomplished the same thing, but okay.
All right. Well, let's end this episode now. So thank you all for
listening.
Sorry,
last one.
Go ahead.
I didn't mean to, but all that tells me is there is a fairly large degree of stupidity that still runs amok. There are a percentage of people that still think angels are real, that Elvis is alive, right? You name it.
Tupac's alive.
Tupac. That's right. Yes, Tupac is. Actually, he's consulting with Dre and them, still cutting albums.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's so when somebody says you're 20-year-old, how old are they? Just don't let it shock you.
At least people have, humor. See, humor isn't dead.
By the way, sorry, I know we keep prolonging this. There's a subconsciously I want to get to an hour, so I'm trying to. But, so I am very excited for this weekend. I am going to have 2 iconic fried chicken meals.
Yes, you are.
The first one is from Pioneer Chicken.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody grew up in Southern California, Pioneer Chicken was a staple. Okay,
I've never had it.
It's this very heavy, crunchy outer breading. They have an awesome spicy rice. I had it like 7 or 8 months ago, but before that was like 25 years ago. There's only like one left in Southern California. It's near the Bike Casino, off the 5 or the 710. So hitting that tomorrow. And then Sunday, I'm going to Knott's Berry Farm. Knott's also has this famous fried chicken place that had been around since it started in 1934. Some of the best fried. So anybody that knows me knows I love fried chicken.
Do you get on the rides?
I will this time because I'll have my niece with me.
Wow, look at you.
So I'll have to help her a little bit. But I'm saying everybody that knows me knows I love good fried chicken.
And he can't eat it right now in the office.
Yes, I know. I'm on restriction. But tomorrow and Sunday, I'm gonna tear up the fried chicken.
So for next week, we can have a review for that.
I will totally. I will. You know me. There's something we should do. I don't know. There's like a TikTok thing, right, where people just like rate.
Yeah.
So I was telling Jennifer because I tell you we went to Golden Corral, the buffet, and how terrible it was. I can't even believe I actually went there. But I started thinking,
drove out to Oxnard.
45 minutes. I know. It's so bad. It was ghetto food. It was so awful. But what I was thinking about, and this is true, is I should do like the food review TikToks of just buffet fried chicken.
They do that. There's people who do that. There's a guy who does it on TikTok.
Well, so much for that great idea. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Karina shitting on my dream once again.
I wasn't saying you couldn't do it. I'm just saying you can, and you might go like viral because people have viral for stuff like that.
I don't know. No, I don't.
There's a guy who sits in his car and reviews every food, and he's on like.
Yeah, there's a few of those. Yeah. There's one that we listen to. Like he's really funny. But there's a few of them. Yeah, I know. Anyway, all right. Well, maybe we're just shy of an hour, but that's fine. We're close enough.
All right. Thank you all for listening. Remember to follow our show on whatever you're streaming it on. And please give us a review so we can, see it, get our streams up and all of that. But follow us on all our social medias. You can find us on Instagram at The Bensama Confirm, on Twitter and TikTok at Bensama Confirm. Our website's eblawfirm.us, and you can email us at info@eblawfirm.us. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.